Hello, welcome to the podcast today. I'm going to be talking about the mistakes that stylists make that cost them clients. And the reason I am talking about this is because I've seen it so many times and I've been doing this for a long time. If you're new here, my name's Emma Morton Turner. I'm an interior stylist of 20 plus years. I'm not saying 25 years anymore, 20 plus years. And I just think it's really important that we share these things so that people know how to kind of move forward from a positive place with the knowledge of this is how to keep clients. Now, the thing to remember is that interior styling, the world of interiors, well, especially from magazines, editorial, commercial brands, those sorts of professional stylists. The industry is very small. Everybody knows everybody. Clients talk, PRs talk, stylists chat. If something goes wrong on a shoot, everybody pretty much gets to hear about it. And, the word spreads really fast. So if you're new to styling or you just want to level up, these are the mistakes to check that you're not doing and keep you ahead. Maybe you've made some yourself. Number one is turning up unprepared. So you really need to turn up with a shoot list. You need to know exactly what you're shooting, in what part of the location or the studio, how it's going to be set up. You need to be really on top of it. You need to know what props are arriving, whether they're coming from a courier that's picking up from the prop house, or maybe they are bringing from the client. You need to know where everything is in the boxes. If you're not ready, the shoot is not going to run smoothly. Prep is 80% of what we do. Prep is 80% of the job. If you're an interior stylist and you've been doing it for a while, you know that it is all about logistics and organization. I've got a podcast coming out soon where two stylists will tell you how it's all about spreadsheets. They have everything all together. And if you're turning up to Christmas shoots and you still need to wrap presents, if you haven't got an assistant ready to do that for you, that is going to slow you down. You have to turn up prepared. Prep is what sets you apart. So you don't have to be perfect. I'm not saying that, but you need to be prepared. Number two is overstyling everything. And I'm talking about cramming everything in onto a shelf. Every surface is packed with props. You're not highlighting the product. You have to make sure that you're not burying it. The importance of negative space or breathing space and knowing when to stop just keeping on putting things into a shot is what it's all about. You really need to be on top of that. Just give it a little bit of a Number three is ignoring the brief. So you might be styling something really beautiful and you might have a really good idea of what it needs to look like. But actually, if you pull together a really bright shoot and the brand is actually very minimalist and very kind of monochrome or very kind of beiges and greys and very calm colors, nothing pops, you have to make sure that you are on brand. Essentially, you have to make sure that if you are going to be shooting a budget brand, you don't want to be shooting in some massive location house, which is what happened to me one time. I was shooting for a very inexpensive brand, and we were in this house that had huge skirting boards, the kind that almost came up to your knee, and the architrave around the doorways were absolutely massive, and everywhere we wanted to shoot, it just looked expensive, which is great if you want to get a budget product and put it into a shot and make it look amazing. And you're like, oh my goodness, I would never. Homebase is one I always remember. I remember seeing home-based products in the shop and going, I would have walked straight past this had I not seen it at the press show styled on a table or on a lamp, on a console table or something. When you take products out of a shop, you just need to give people, the customers, you need to give customers the inspiration and make an aspirational shot. But this shoot was far too aspirational that I did. And unfortunately, from then on, we used much more regular people's houses. My kind of house, that's that kind of house, not massive skirting boards. But what I'm saying is you must stick to the brief. You must make sure that you know who the customer is. It's really good if you get in touch with the client and just double check, okay, I think your client is this person and they do this and they shop here and they wear these clothes and they probably like this perfume. If you have a really good idea of who your customer is, or if you're doing a shoot for a magazine, who the magazine is for, you can really style to that person. It's always about the person. I always come back to feelings. It's always about feelings. But yeah, if you get in your head who the customer is or the client is or who the brand is aiming at, it will really help you to stick to the brief. Number four is getting defensive about feedback. Now, everybody gets feedback. Everyone will do a shoot, or every stylist will do a shoot where there's a client and a product designer and the marketing manager, and then you'll probably have the PR. You'll have 1,000,001 people on the shoot, and they will all be putting their 2 pennies within. But if someone gives you some feedback about a shot you styled and you think it should look one way and they think it should look another, the key is to not get defensive, to not let that get your back up. Now, I'm sure I've shared this story a million times, but I come back to it every time because it was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got without it even intentionally being advice. So Alison Davidson, who is now the editor of the English Home, she was doing a shoot back in the day. This is really back in the day, right at the beginning of my career. I was doing work experience for a magazine I got my first job on, and I'd been sent to assist Alison on the cover shoot. And we were setting it all up in the morning, and she was telling me what to put where, and I was packing and unpacking boxes. And then at lunchtime, the editor turned up and she said, I don't like that, move that chair needs to be over there, the table needs to be on the other side of the room, I'm not sure about that vase, why the flower's that colour. But she was very direct with the way she was saying it. And I had never heard anyone talk. I mean, we'd worked our socks off really fast to make sure we were ready for when the model arrived in the afternoon. And I was really shocked by how she spoke to Alison. And I thought, I don't know how I would take that. And when she came into the room where I was packing the boxes, I said, I'm really you handled that really well. I would have been quite upset by that. And she said, what? It was almost like she didn't even notice. And she said, it's not personal. It's that everybody who comes to a shoot has a different style and a different thought in their head of what something looks like. So if you've got a shoot that's for a brand and the product developer is there and the marketing manager's there, those two people have lived and breathed this product for a really long time. But they're going to have an idea of what they want it to look like. And they've set you a brief and you've got all the products and all the props and everything ready, but they're seeing it in a different way to you. So it's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's not what they saw. And the key thing that Alison said was, it's not personal. Don't take it personally. You have to let that just be water off a Dax buck. Let's try that again. Has to be water off a duck's back. Don't let it upset you. I have taken that with me for 25 years. Brilliant, brilliant advice. Don't get defensive. People do. People get very upset because they think, I'm the stylist and what I say is right. And I have seen this firsthand. I'm a stylist. This is how I think it should be. This is it. No. We want the client or the magazine to be happy at the end of the day. Does it really matter if the vase is on the left, not the right? In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't. Number 5 is not asking enough questions. So when you're set a brief, it's really important to understand exactly what that client is asking you to do. So if you aren't 100% sure, I think everyone's heard of clarifying questions, just ask more questions. I would say to the person telling me, usually it's on a Zoom call or you might be meeting someone in person, I would say, okay, so what I'm hearing is you want me to do a Christmas shoot that's light and textured. There's a lot of white snow, kind of Scandi style, but you don't want reindeers around the Christmas table. That's what I'm hearing. And they will either clarify yes or no. And if it's no, they'll give you more details. Or if it's yes, you will know you are super on the right track. Again, it's about understanding who the end user of this content is going to be. How are they going to be using this image? Are they going to be desiring that product? Are they going to be inspired by that magazine page? Understand who that end user is, and then you can really get into the head of what that brief is really all about. Okay, number 6, I love this one. Underestimating how much physical work goes into being an interior stylist. Oh my goodness. When you tell someone you're going on a photo shoot, they think, lucky you, that's really glam. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you could see how much lifting and carrying and schlepping there is, you're loading it into your car and out your car, onto the van and off the van. You're literally lifting boxes and steaming stuff, usually on a very hot, sticky day. You're lighting fires. You're getting on your hands and knees. So much of the time, it's not glamorous at all. So if you are not ready to sweat your guts out on a very hot day, be covered in glitter and covered in fake snow, this is not the job for you. Number 7 is disappearing after the shoot. And I don't mean disappearing, the shoot's finished, off you go, off you pop home. I don't mean that. Obviously, stylists are the last to leave. We literally make sure every single item is back in the location house where it was when we arrived. We make sure everything's clean and tidy. If you're me last Friday, you leave your steamer behind. Can't believe I did that. Can't believe I did that. Unless it's tucked in my car under a chair, I've left my steamer. I'm gutted. It was a little handheld thing. It was brilliant. Anyway, we are last to leave. But when I say disappearing after the shoot, what I'm talking about is don't go quiet. Don't finish the shoot and then never speak to anyone again. I was taught very early on, the first thing you do as a stylist or even as an assistant, thank the photographer for their work. Their skill makes everything look so much better. If you got your camera out or your phone out and took pictures, it would look a fraction of how good professional photography looks. The lighting, I talk about this all the time, the lighting on professional photographers, oh, it just captures you. It just captures you because it looks so good. Thank them. Drop them an email, message them on Instagram. This is what I usually do. I usually share a picture and say thank you to whoever for a fab shoot, and then I message them directly and say thank you. I wouldn't just put it on a post and like a social thing. Oh, look at me. No, personally message them. Email's even better because then they know that you've taken the time to sit down and actually say thank you. You should also be talking to the client. You might need to just send a returns list. You might need to, well, you'll have to send your invoice in, but it's a good idea to send a note, an email, or if your friends, send it through social media. However you know this person well enough, send them a note and just say, thank you so much for asking me to style for you. I loved that shoot. I can't wait to see the pictures. There's definitely some that are going in my portfolio. It was just such a great day and I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to say thank you before the excitement of it all goes away. It's a really good idea to do that because who doesn't like getting a thank you email or a thank you message? And just that, I always try and make it very personal, and I like to point out something very specific that happened on the shoot that everyone will go, oh my God, I know the salt beef sandwiches. I'm always going on about the salt beef sandwiches. Salt beef sandwiches, highlight of one of my shoots. Literally thank the client for getting me salt beef sandwiches. And you know why we do this? Because people hire people they know, like, and trust. And that is what it is. This is you being known, liked, and trusted. Don't go quiet. Number 8 is not building a network. So this job, I mean, I think most jobs, most industries, it's built on relationships. And if you aren't connecting with people, if you aren't connecting with every assistant and every client, and I can't tell you how many times I've been on a shoot and there's been the marketing manager and a product designer and the PR, and I know all those people, and then one of them leaves and goes to another brand or another PR agency, and they know you, so they bring you in. The more connections you have, the better it is with everything. So whether it's friendship or work or anything, just really stay well connected. I think a lot of this is about getting out of the house. I did a podcast about that, which I will link through to in the show notes, or I will link below. It's so important to get out. If you get invited to anything, go and speak to other people at the event, at the press show, go speak to all the clients. I had such a good time last week. I went to the Little Red Rooster Summer Showcase, and I really didn't have time because it was like 2 days before. It was the day before. I was driving to Leicestershire for a shoot, so I really shouldn't have left my house. I had such a long to-do list, but I got invited in February or something, and I was like, I'm not missing this one. I love the guys over there. And did I see some beautiful? I've had so many ideas from this. I've got so many. Oh, oh my God. I did do a video of walking around it, which I will also link through to, which is on YouTube. I had such a laugh with the guy, I think it was head of design from King Living, spinning on his chair. And I met one of the co-owners of Casa Latina. Oh my goodness, I've got so many ideas about that China. It is beautiful. And I stood chatting to this lady. And then when she told me who she was, I was like, oh my goodness, this is your brand? Brilliant. I've made connection. She gave me her card. I was like, oh my goodness, your card is beautiful. I spoke to her. I spoke to King Living. I spoke to someone with a very expensive, very beautiful pool table that turns into a dining table. I spoke to so many people. Who knows what that will kind of open doors to? It might be a podcast guest. It might be another product launch. You just never know what a connection will do. So I'm going to just wrap up here, get to the end of this already, Emma. Mistakes are just part of the journey. Whether you've been doing it for 5 minutes or 5 years or 25 years, mistakes still happen, but it's all about how you handle them. It's keeping your cool that gets you rebooked. And you've got this. You're not doing it alone. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that. We've got 61 subscribers now. I can't tell you, I do a little yippy skippy dance every time I get a new subscriber. So if you're not subscribed, do follow below. I should say this in the middle in case people don't get to the end. I'll do that next time. Bye for now.